Hello everyone, I'm Bartolo for Gallery Teachers and we are producing a series of workshops about TEFL, that is teaching English as a foreign language. If you want to watch them and get certified for your training, please visit us at galleryteachers.com. Our guest for today is one of the most respected trainers in the ESC industry, and I'm fortunate enough to consider him a colleague. In fact, he is one of the authors of our workshops. And if you have been in this industry for a while, it's very likely that you already know him. Thom, thank you for being with us. My first question is for the newly qualified teachers. We finished our TEFL course. We took our qualification. Gallery Teachers has an internship program to get practical experience teaching online. But let's say that we have studied with another company. Now we have our qualification, but no practical experience. So what's next? How do we find a job?
I think the first step when we qualify as teachers is to make sure that we teach, which sounds very stupid, but it's very easy to get the qualification and then life gets in the way and you're doing other things. And suddenly it's 2 years ago that you did the qualification, you're not sure if you can still teach, if you've got the confidence. So I always say, first tip, get out and teach. And that could be getting out there in terms of going to a job for 1 year or longer, or it could be doing a short course. So what I always think is really great is doing, for example, a summer course where you go along and you teach for sort of 6-8 weeks, and it's a really great place to kind of cut your teeth because it's very intensive, and if you make a mistake, you're not there for 1 year, you're only there for 6 weeks, so it's okay. Even better, the students that come along normally only stay for about 2 weeks. So if you make some terrible error, 2 weeks later they're gone and you get a new lot. So it's kind of all right. So it's a great place to learn and cut your teeth and make mistakes. It's also a lot of fun. I sort of grew up professionally working in summer schools and I love it. So I'd always recommend starting with a summer school. And there's always quite a nice atmosphere as well in terms of people trying to help out and people trying to make it work.
Are there any paid jobs where the competition is lower and it's easier to access because maybe they are overlooked?
There are a lot of jobs you can do where you just can get in and have access to students in one context or another, which may not be high-paying jobs, may not be what you ultimately want to do with your qualification, but again, they're a really great place to kind of cut your teeth, to kind of get your feet on the ground. And whatever you get paid is a lot better than nothing, I always feel. I'm one of those people who's always pathetically grateful to have a job. So, but there are situations and there are vacancies out there, particularly online, for teachers who will do, for example, part of coursework for students or coursework with students. Don't pay huge amounts of money, but they're a really good source of experience. And kind of mentoring, that kind of stuff as well, which is not teaching, obviously, and yet it does give you that experience of being in front of people and being with people and helping them access education.
Do you think there are specific areas where TEFL teachers are currently on demand? And when is the best time to apply?
The good news is that TEFL teachers are always in demand. The bad news is that when you start in the year will be the kind of atmosphere that you walk into, because a lot of teaching jobs start predictably in September, when the new term and the new academic year starts in most of the world. That's great, and if you get a job that starts in September and you can afford to start in September, that's fantastic. If you are, starting to look for work in January, December, there will be work. The problem will often be that you will be walking into shoes that may have already been stamped in. Do you know what I mean? So you're taking on a job that somebody has had a problem and had to leave. So you might be going into a school or a company that are very wary, that are very concerned because they just had their fingers burnt by taking somebody on and having problems with them. So that can be something kind of extra you have to work past when you start the job. So I think that's always worth having a look at. Cleanly you start September, you finish sort of June, then you do a summer school and then you spend a month with your mum. Maybe that's just me. But anyway, I always used to do that. Like I'd kind of go away for the year to somewhere exotic and exciting, come back and do a summer school, and then spend a month kind of resting with my parents and my family, which was great, and then go off to another country and do exciting things. So yeah, September to June, summer school, at home with mum. That's my top tip.
Speaking about exotic places, I've seen adverts on YouTube where they claim they became millionaires and they speak from their villa with a swimming pool. Truth be told, I'm working from home and I have a swimming pool right on my courtyard. But this is because I'm currently based in Tenerife, Spain, and here having a private swimming pool is the norm. Generally speaking, I don't know so many millionaires that became rich by teaching English. So, what are we doing wrong?
Yeah, there are videos online that give you this great picture of teaching and being millionaires and living on these fantastic islands and a life of surfing and paragliding. The reality is often very different. You can get well-paid teaching jobs. They are often hard work and not a great deal of fun. And also there is the thing of recruiting teachers from places and then taking them to places that are very different, which often do involve paying, it's a weird thing because if you go to rich countries, you'll get paid more, and if you go to poor countries, you'll get paid less. If you go to countries that are judged as being difficult to live in, for example, some Middle Eastern countries where, for example, alcohol is banned, and a lot of Westerners and North Americans struggle with that, then those countries tend to pay quite a lot. But if you go to countries that are doing more of the kind of work where you're living out in very rural surroundings, in possibly rural communities, and it's a very poor country, you often find you're paid far less, which is bizarre, and that's kind of how the world works, and that's the system we're in. But that is sometimes the kind of slightly glorified travelling rather than actually teaching, and the qualifications people want are often significantly less. That's kind of changing, and people are understanding the fact that getting somebody from a country that speaks the language is no guarantee the person can teach, and that's why qualifications are important. And that's part of what we've done with Gallery Teachers, really. If you check the links below, our qualifications are about making sure that you as a teacher do know what you're actually doing and do know what you're getting into.
So how much should we expect to be paid?
The question of pay in teaching jobs is really interesting because there is a real spectrum, because some companies will charge customers a very different amount of money to what you actually get paid, which is kind of normal in terms of overheads, but also people often pay what they can get away with paying. So if you will work for $4 an hour, people will pay you $4 an hour. If you demand $50 an hour, you might get less work, but if it's at $50 an hour, you don't need as much of it. So that's a kind of point there. Gallery Teachers is currently hiring, which is good news. We've got a huge raft of people coming in and doing webinars and teaching, training CPD for teachers. Those people obviously need the right qualifications and need to be the right people, but they can earn up to, 100, 180 pounds for doing those webinars. If you're interested, check out the link below, see what you think, let us know. Throw your hat in the ring.
I'm checking our forum because our members submitted their questions for you for this interview. You already replied to this one. This is similar. Okay, this is a good one. Can a school or an agency refuse my qualification and force me to take their course in order to be considered for their available positions? And also, I have something similar for us. Do I need to take your TEFL course in order to be considered for your available positions? You partly responded to this question, but I think it's an interesting topic because it happened to me as well. I was working in a university and I wanted to be considered for the TEFL programs. And they told me that they were hiring just people who studied with them. And I understand their point, but at the same time, I don't like it.
Can an institution refuse to take the qualification that you have? Yes, they can, and sometimes do, because they, particularly if they run their own programs, they do want people that they've pre-vetted. If somebody's done a qualification with you, it's like a very long interview, and you know the quality of what you're getting. That said, we, for example, at Gallery Teachers, are happy to look at whoever's got the right kind of qualifications, which is qualifications that show they can teach, and the right kind of experience. Again, obviously, we like working with people that we know. So if people have studied with us and we've built a relationship with them, then that does help get a foot in the door. But it's no guarantee. And I think that's also true of not having our qualification. If the right person comes through and doesn't have their qualification with us, that's okay. We're happy with that. It's a difficult one because obviously institutions can decide what they want to do and who they want to accept. That's the nature of the job market. It would be lovely if we could insist that they have to take this qualification or that qualification, but we can't. You need people to fill the job, and they need to be the right people. So most institutions have guidelines. Most will use them as guidelines and not a strict categorical policy, if that makes sense.
Thank you, Tom. It's been really nice to talk to you, and I'm looking forward to watch your workshop on galleryteachers.com. That's all for today. If you have something important to tell to the TEFL community, you want to write an article for our website, or you want to get interviewed for this channel, please write at us at editorial@galleryteachers.com and we will get back to you. If you are watching us on YouTube, and especially if it's the first time that you are with us, please subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, like, comment, and everything that can help us to grow as a community. Thank you for watching us, and until next time, happy teaching and happy learning.